Riot Blockchain, formerly known as Bioptics.
They were selling medical equipment. Now all of a sudden they're a blockchain company.
Do the normal shuffle, and there goes the stock.
The stock has soared more than 600% this year.
I'm not sure that this is actually a blockchain company, so you need to be careful.
Riot Blockchain in the news after it changed its name last October from Bioptics, a medical equipment company. The stock shot up from $8 to more than $40 over the next 2.5 months. It sounds somewhat like the kind of newly minted blockchain company the SEC might be interested in, as the agency's chairman testified at a recent congressional hearing.
Are you concerned that companies may be utilizing blockchain as a scheme to pump up their stock prices?
Nobody should think it's okay to change your name to something that involves blockchain when you have no real underlying blockchain business plan and try to sell securities based on the hype around blockchain.
We wanted to find out who was behind Riot Blockchain, but for weeks, no one would talk to us. So we decided to see if we could get answers here at the swanky Boca Raton Resort and Club in Florida. That's where Riot's annual shareholders meeting was set to take place. It would be an upscale setting for this upstart company, with red ink as far as their most recent quarterly report shows. But as we quickly learned, that annual meeting wasn't going to take place.
Twice, Riot Blockchain announced they were going to hold their annual shareholders meeting here at the Boca Raton Resort and Club. Twice, at the very last minute. In fact, the night before, they announced they were postponing the meeting. And in fact, the hotel tells us there was never a meeting room ever booked under the name Riot Blockchain.
So we drove to this nearby office building, trying to find Barry Honig. According to SEC filings, he may be the man behind the curtain. He was an early investor in Riot, back when it was Vinaxis, medical testing company, and then eventually Bioptics. He led an activist move to replace the board, and he eventually won. The new board changed the name from Bioptics to Riot Blockchain.
Hello? Hi, Michelle Caruso Cabrera.
As the elevator door opened, in front of us, not Barry Honig, but this man, John O'Rourke, the CEO of Riot Blockchain. The same John O'Rourke who made news in December for selling about $869,000 worth of Riot stock just 2 months after the company changed its name. O'Rourke quickly closed the door. 5 minutes later, he emerged and agreed to talk to us, but only off camera. He said he was here for a meeting with Honig when we arrived and that we had just missed him. O'Rourke insisted that he does not work out of Barry Honig's office, even though we found him there. During that hour-long off-camera meeting, O'Rourke told us his Riot stock sale was merely to pay taxes on his restricted stock. And as to the sharp rise in shares of Riot, O'Rourke said that was unexpected and ridiculous. He also said he isn't worried about the SEC because we over-disclose. When asked about Riot's business model, he said it's a combination of strategic investments in crypto-related companies and that soon Riot would be mining Bitcoin. And as far as those no-show annual meetings, O'Rourke told us there wasn't a quorum of shareholders needed for a vote and that additional corporate actions were in the works that would require a shareholders meeting. O'Rourke repeatedly promised to talk to us on camera, as long as it was a week and a half later after some key announcements, and he would even come to New York to make it convenient. We took him at his word. His emails to us say the interview was confirmed, and I believe you will be impressed. In the meantime, we went looking for Barry Honig, because according to SEC filings, he once owned more than 500,000 shares, or more than 11% of Riot's common stock, which he bought before it was Riot. And that's not all. After winning his fight to change the board of directors, SEC filings show he accumulated another 700,000 new warrants, which he could convert to stock at $3.56 a share, and more than 700,000 promissory notes, which he could convert to stock at $2.50 a share. After the company changed its name to Riot Blockchain 7 months later, the stock soared to a high of $46.20. Since Honig wasn't at his office, we went to his home. That's when he finally called us back and said he would think about talking to us, but only if we left. Finally, Honig did agree to go on camera the following week while he was in New York, only to back out 2 hours later. But he did agree to talk to us by phone just 2 days ago. He downplayed his influence with Riot and John O'Rourke.
John O'Rourke himself, and he makes his own decisions. Okay.
In 2000, you were fined for $25,000 and suspended 10 days by FINRA for stock manipulation. and you're no longer a licensed broker. Do you still manipulate stocks?
The answer is no. Continue. I'm a successful investor. I'm a comfortable person. I don't need to work today. I have a beautiful family. I'm college educated, and I'm very comfortable. I'm very comfortable. The truth will come out.
Honig acknowledged he's done this before. 5 years ago, he and John O'Rourke were involved in another company that changed its business model to blockchain. That stock also skyrocketed. Today, it's trading around $2 a share. Oh, and it's changed its business model again to cloud computing for cars. We asked Richard Burns, a securities attorney, to review Riot's SEC filings.
When you look at Riot Blockchain, do you see any red flags?
Yes. I see a company that has had a change of control of the board. I see a company that has had a change in business. I see a company that's had several dilutive issuances immediately following the change of the board and change of the business. And I see a stock that has gone zoom. And what I understand, a significant amount of insider selling. And so, yes, these are red flags.
As a securities lawyer, what would you tell potential investors about Riot?
Well, in my position, normally I'm not telling investors whether to buy or sell securities. In fact, that's not my job. But if the question is, are there things that an investor should be wary of, I would say absolutely. There are things that when I look at these filings, they are outside the norm.
Just this week, a new filing from Barry Honig, which shows he sold a massive amount of shares. His common stock down to little more than 173,000. So, as Riot was issuing press release after press release, promising great plans for the company, Honig was selling, making millions of dollars along the way. As far as John O'Rourke, his promise of a confirmed on-camera interview did not happen. Remember his email to us saying, "I believe you will be impressed"? Well, he never gave us the chance to be impressed because he never showed up, canceling the night before, saying he needed to jump to the Midwest to try and close an acquisition. The day of the interview, all we got was his voicemail.
Hi, Mr. O'Rourke. It's Michelle Caruso.
And this, an empty chair.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.